Next up, we have a really special session. Somebody who was an enormous inspiration for both Kate and I in setting the whole of One Young World up. Somebody who was the Secretary General of the United Nations from 1997 to 2006. Somebody who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in creating a better organized and more peaceful world. He's been the most amazing supporter for us. He was there in 2010 in London. He was in Pittsburgh. He was in Johannesburg last year. He's back yet again to support us and to share his amazing wisdom. He's my personal hero. He's the world's greatest statesman, in my opinion. Please welcome back Kofi Annan. Good to see you.
Good morning. It sounds as if we are having lots of fun at this session. Let me say how delighted I am to be back. And David, thanks for that warm introduction. It is always a rewarding experience for me to share ideas with young people who come from such a wide range of nationalities and backgrounds. I come away from these sessions hopeful and reassured that the future of our world is not lost. Some of you here today have lived through terrible violence and conflict. And so this year's theme of peace and reconciliation will have a special relevance and resonance for you. Ours, and I don't need to tell you this, is a really messy world. We are facing far-reaching challenges that unfortunately you may have to inherit, because I'm not sure we are going to be able to solve it. That is my generation. Among the most critical, let me share a few with you. Among the most critical are ethnic, religious, cultural, economic divisions, which separate us and create tensions and violence within communities and within countries. Unacceptable inequalities of opportunity within and between nations. Exclusionary and unresponsive political institutions. Accelerating climate change. Global institutions that are not adapted to the realities of the emerging world. Since the last OYW conference in Johannesburg, these drivers of instability and conflict have led to heightened tensions and conflict in a number of regions and states. For example, Iraq and Syria, Ukraine, Thailand, Hong Kong, and the list goes on. And of course, I should also mention here the Ebola medical crisis. Young people are especially vulnerable to and disproportionately affected by violence and conflict. They are caught up in and victimized by violence as child soldiers, gang members, or as refugees or migrants. Yet, you, the young, are also amongst the most determined peacemakers, and the most effective agents of reconciliation. Why? Because you realize that we are all in the same boat, and you cannot have peace nor prosper at the expense of the other. You understand that real peace building is conflict prevention, and that reconciling grievances is an investment in your future. You are more aware than previous generations of the complexities of conflict. You have an array of tools, in particular the social media, to help you shine light on causes of conflict, whatever and wherever they may be. You understand that genuine peace is the sum of many small actions by many individual people all across the globe. And each of us sometimes have our little bit to do. As the first truly global generations, truly global citizens, you know better than anyone that cultural, religious, and ethnic diversity can be a source of strength, not only a source of division. You should follow the work of the Global Center for Pluralism based in Ottawa, Canada, which reinforces this point. From my own experience in dealing with conflict, I firmly believe that young people must be empowered as agents and not simply as targets for peace and reconciliation efforts. I understand that you will now be going into groups to discuss in more depth these issues. Let me suggest a few questions you may ponder when you get into the smaller groups. The first question is, how can we ensure that young people are better represented and active in political life in general and peace processes in particular? Second, how can young people help create an understanding that peace and justice are two sides of the same coin? Third, how can young people help build strong institutions that create trust among people, especially in societies recovering from conflict? And fourth, how can we strengthen the institutions of global governance and make them better able to respond to the threats to international peace and security? And finally, how can young people hold leaders to account and ensure that they serve their democratic duties responsibly? These are challenging questions. But as members of One Young World, I am confident that you will find the answers as you have done already by bringing about positive changes in your own local communities. I'm confident, too, that you will build on those successes to construct a more secure and fairer world for all. Let me wish you good luck in your deliberations, and I look forward to hearing the outcome. Work hard, but have fun as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and safe travels.
Thank you, sir. Love to Nan and the children. Take care of yourself.
So a huge send-off for Mr. Kofi Annan. An inspiration to the world, an inspiration to young people, and an unbelievable inspiration to us all at One Young World. And someone who, again, has moved his travel schedule around. He has to get off and get on a plane to New York, but it's so amazing to have him back with us every year.